are listening to Lex Talk, More Action. Today's host is Melissa Tibbs. How you doing today, Melissa?
Good, Cameron. How are you?
I am doing well. It has been a very long break for me.
Yes, welcome back. How was your time off?
Oh, gosh. It was interesting because I didn't know how much I needed the break until I took it.
Yep.
Yeah, and so...
Did you do anything fun?
I did not. We just stayed at home. I did get some sleep. I still woke up at 7:30, but I refused to get up at 7:30. So,
what our listeners need to know is that Cameron has for a long time indicated, I do not like to take time off if I can't go anywhere.
Exactly.
So the fact that he actually wasn't here is a pretty big bonus for him right now.
A staycation. Oh, gosh, I hate that. Daytime TV is the worst. I mean, Maury and the soaps. Can you believe the soaps are still on? Who watches the soaps?
Oh, man.
I know. I'm hitting a very
sensitive nerve.
I'm hitting a cult, and I better watch what I say. But yeah, the funny thing is those soaps still are showing the same people than when I was a kid. And I'm 40
That's
plus
what
years
makes them
old.
lovable by so many people. I'm certain of it.
God,
I know my
that's
mom
just-
watches. She talks to me about it.
Which
so
one does she watch?
Days of Our Lives.
Oh, see?
She can remember the first
music
episode
hasn't
she
even
watched.
changed. Golly.
Oh, that's funny.
But I remember Bo and what
The
was
Beautiful?
Bo.
Bo.
Bo,
And
what was his girl?
Hope.
Hope.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. And Stefano dying and coming back to life and just crazy stuff. in
So
the
Cameron,
soaps.
you're up to date.
I'm telling you, my grandmothers, my great-grandmother and my grandmother had me sit in front of the TV, and oh my God, I watched all the soaps. I remember, oh gosh, the only reason I know about, what is his name, with the whistling show that comes on, the black and
Andy
white.
Griffith?
Yes.
The Andy Griffith show?
Yes,
Mhm.
I had to watch those.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, so I have a huge history of daytime TV, and I think that may be one of the reasons why I don't like to do a staycation. Yeah.
Because you feel obliged to watch?
No, because there's nothing to watch. All my friends are at work. You're sitting there, and it's just, it's quarantine. That's what it is. It's quarantine again.
That's funny.
Gosh, I hope we don't go back into quarantine because, I don't know, it's getting cold, and, when you get cabin fever and all of that, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
But those numbers are still rising, so I think Uncle Andy's going to put us on punishment again. So we'll just have to see. So, Melissa.
Yes,
What
sir.
is going on today? Who's on our show today?
All right. So today we are going to have a special episode of our podcast where we have invited Lady Borges, our newest director of community services.
Welcome, lady.
Hi, guys.
Hi. We're going to talk about the services that we are providing right now that are really impacting positively the people who have had a financial impact, frankly, of COVID-19. And so we want to make sure that that information is getting out far and wide. So thank you for having us on your podcast, Cam. And we are going to do a good service today by letting everybody know those who may be in need of a service or those who are working with those who are in need of services. We hope that this podcast will be able to very clearly identify what's available, how it can be accessed, and how it is helping.
And during this time, it's just so essential that we make sure that people know there's help and there's help available. So we just need to make sure we get that word out and make sure people spread the word. So when you hear this podcast, go ahead and share the information, share the show so that we can help those that are in serious need during this time.
Yep, that's true. So before we get started with talking about that, Lady, why don't you introduce yourself and let people know kind of how you come to this position at Community Action and sort of what you want to see over the next couple of months as you kind of continue your first 6 months of work here in that position.
Well, first, I want to thank you guys for having me here.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I'm super excited. It's my first time in the podcast. I've been listening to the other ones, and You guys are doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Been with Community Action for almost 7 years now in different positions, different roles, working directly with the community. Once I started as the intern director, it was a passion. We started in the middle of the pandemic. It was around April, and it just literally dropped. Hey, lady, it's time for you to get some, like I always said, some tennis shoes, Jean, and work with the community, work and support those needs.
Yeah.
So my main role has been basically hands-on, providing the services that our community needs right now, providing all these programs that we have in the agency and with partners in the community to make sure we're supporting our families. And my goal in the future, it's basically strong communication with community, strong communication with partners to find out what's the need.
Yep.
How are we going to address those needs?
That's right.
I saw some pictures of you actually out in the neighborhoods doing some, I don't know what programs it was, but just out in the community, making sure that you're seen and making those connections, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, Cameron, and that's very important for me. I really want to make sure that we are there. Mm-hmm. We are not just, talking about the programs. Right. We are actually talking to the participants themselves and telling them and supporting and hands-on. If we're giving out food out there, we are doing it. Absolutely. So they feel that connection with all of us from Community Action.
Absolutely.
So today, Lady and I, and a special guest that'll join us in a little while, we're going to talk to you about 3 different programs essentially that are happening right now. They're called LIHEAP, Healthy at Home Utility Relief Fund, and then we are doing some rental assistance for households who have been affected financially and are behind on their rent, and we are calling that at our agency Help for Home. It's important for your listeners to know that we specifically serve Fayette, Bourbon, Harrison, and Nicholas. But there are 23 community action agencies in Kentucky that are serving these types or providing these types of services in their communities. And so for anyone who is listening who lives or works outside of the 4 counties I just mentioned, we recommend that you go to capky.org. And on that website is our State Association of Community Action Kentucky. They will let you know which community action agency serves the communities that you're interested in.
It's very important.
It's very important because we're all operating together, essentially, as part of a network for especially the LIHEAP and the utility utility assistance program that I mentioned. And then I know just because of our work with those community action agencies that they're also offering a lot of other services that we may not be doing together, but that we are doing at the same time. Right. So the things that we talk about are likely being done by those community action agencies as well. So it's important that people get familiar with community action agencies, not just ours, but also the state's, because we're really doing an incredible amount of work right now.
Absolutely. We're just not in Kentucky. We're not just in Lexington. We hit the whole.
That's right.
We're worldwide.
Yeah,
That's
we're
right.
Worldwide.
So to speak to that, we are nationwide. We do have 1,000 community action agencies across the country, all of whom have been operating for the majority of the last 55 years when the War on Poverty was launched. So again, if you happen to be coming to this show and you live even outside of the state of Kentucky, I recommend that you Google search Community Action Agency in your county, and you will no doubt be directed to the people who can provide assistance where you are.
Got it. It's good information. Let's get started. Hey, what is going on in your shop?
My shop is busy. We're making toys.
It's time for toys now.
Time for toys. Well, my shop is really busy, Cameron. Like I said before, we are several programs. Melissa mentioned Healthy at Home, LIHEAP. We run Team Kentucky also, and Housing Stabilization Program.
All right. Now, I know that means a lot to us internally, but you can break that down for me. Let's start with the first one. What did you say?
LIHEAP. Let's talk LIHEAP.
Let's talk LIHEAP.
LIHEAP. What does that stand for?
It's the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program.
There it is.
And what what people should know now is that there are income eligibility requirements for all of the programs that we operate. Our mission is to help prevent, reduce, and eliminate poverty. And so we are an anti-poverty organization that is working on creating economic opportunities. And so for LIHEAP, the income guidelines have actually been adjusted. They are up to 150% of the federal poverty level. And so just to break that down, for a family size of 2, that would mean the prior month's income was $2,100 or less. For example, a family size of 4 would be $3,200 of monthly income or less. And so those are important, and you can find that information on our website to know exactly whether or not families qualify. Because as we're going to talk about in a little bit, we know that people are coming to us still for the first time ever. COVID-19 did not discriminate who it was impacting and how it was impacting them. And so for the last going on 10 months now, we have been helping people who may have never needed or even needed to know about community action before. And so with the increase in eligibility for households in our communities, that means that we are seeing people that may never have come to us. Mm-hmm. And so in addition to income eligibility, it's important to know that we've been operating LIHEAP, and Lady's going to talk about this, for the last 12 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's mm-hmm. a first, isn't it?
Yeah, the first time. We actually finished the first LIHEAP crisis program around April, and we went straight into a subsidy program for LIHEAP. So right after LIHEAP, subsidy, and then we started with summer cooling program, providing both services, LIHEAP subsidy and LIHEAP crisis. So we were providing both assistance at the same time to the families.
Lady, what's the difference for our listeners between subsidy and crisis? If they hear those words, what should they think?
Subsidy is actually a one-time payment based on their income.
Right.
And they can get, like, for right now, the one that we're running that we just started on November the 2nd is actually up to $200.
Right.
And they do not require to have a disconnect. So that means if your primary heat is gas and you have a credit on your account, you qualify for subsidy. It's a support to your bill.
And I think the thing that's really important to emphasize, which I know you have been a proponent of, making sure that all of our staff and all of our partners know, that you don't have to be behind on your bill. You have to qualify through the income eligibility that we talked about. But this is designed to be a support as we head into what could arguably be, a season of the highest electric bills or energy assistance bills, gas bills, as you mentioned. So the fact that you don't have to be behind for that particular program is a big benefit to a lot of people who are just trying to understand and how to get themselves ahead, because it's tough. And we know that the families that are coming to us still have yet to fully financially recover in many instances.
Yeah, and that can make a difference of I need to go to groceries and buy something, and actually I need to put $200 toward your bill.
That's right.
So I think everybody should. Don't think I don't qualify or I'm over income. Go ahead and give us a call.
Yep.
Try, make an appointment, and we will see if you qualify or not.
Yeah. And I think it's important to know that there's resources enough out there right now that we have, we're fortunate to be able to provide this assistance to the people who apply. And so we want to encourage applications that, again, don't self-eliminate, right? Don't assume that you don't qualify or that assistance is intended for somebody else. If you find yourself in the income circumstances that we talked about, and especially if you've been financially affected by COVID-19, perhaps you have still yet to find a new job or you have yet to recover the loss of hours. We have some other programs that are designed specifically to help those families. And so we don't want anyone to self-eliminate. Come to us, let us talk to you about what your needs are, and we'll help make those connections to the right services for those families.
So what's the difference between crisis then?
Crisis, you actually have to have a pass through or a disconnect. And at this time, we're not getting any disconnect. Most of the utility companies are working with our participants to create payment plans. So that's awesome. That's a great support.
Yeah.
So if you have that pass through, that's when crisis comes in. And again, we will help you with that. We will assess your household and see if you qualify for a subsidy and you qualify for a crisis, we will provide you that services. So it's just a matter of you coming to us and let us work with your family.
And so since we're headed in that direction, I know that we're also operating Healthy at Home Utility Relief Fund, and it does function a little bit differently than LIHEAP. Would you like to explain what that is for some people?
Healthy at Home is basically you have to have a disconnect or a pass-through. This one is kind of a crisis situation.
Yeah.
And we're providing services with the water bill, sewer bill, and electric and gas.
Okay.
So that's basically what we are providing right now. You have to be impacted by COVID. That's kind of one of the requirements for that specific program.
And so for impact for COVID, what that means as defined by the state is either a job loss or reduction in hours or some other impact that the family identifies. We know that a lot of families that we're working alongside have just increased cost because their children are staying home during times when they would otherwise be at school.
In that refrigerator, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back and talk more with Lady Borges.
During these very difficult times, Community Action Council is on the front lines, caring for our neighbors as we have over the past 55 years. We are safely helping individuals and families access shelter, food, energy assistance, and health care. We're also ensuring families with young children have baby formula and diapers. We're continuing to prioritize education using virtual learning to help us teach our Head Start children and engage our youth. Things look a little different right now, but we are Community Action Council, and we're made for this.
Community Action Council is launching Help for Home, a local initiative to raise funds for rental assistance for families who have been economically impacted by COVID-19 and are now facing the threat of eviction. You know, it seems that two of the most frequently used words over the last few months has been the phrase "at home." For some right now, those words are stirring up a sense of fear and uncertainty, as thousands in our community are still struggling from the loss of a job or from being underemployed. For others, those words are stirring up a sense of gratitude and a deep desire to help. It is our hope that Help for Home can be the bridge for that help. If you would like to contribute, you can donate easily any amount of money by texting the phrase "Help for Home" to the number 243-725. If you would like to give online or by check, please visit our website at comaction.org. Thank you for helping us help others stay in their homes.
Whether through our Head Start at Home virtual learning or in-person learning, the Prep Academy offers you early childhood education to suit your child and family. With either option, children will receive 2/3 of their daily nutrition, have access to health services through our nurse practitioner, and explore family engagement opportunities to help families achieve their goals. The choice is yours. To enroll your child in one of our Prep Academies or in Head Start at Home, call Community Action Council today or go online at comaction.org.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk More Action. We are joined right now by Miss Adria Johnson, and I'm going to let Lady talk a little bit about why you're here to talk on our podcast. Welcome. It's your first time.
Yep, my first time.
Good. All right, go ahead, Lady.
Hi, Adria. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Are you busy at the office?
Very busy.
Good.
So we wanted to find out from you, because we're talking about the services, but we know that every day you're focused on meeting the needs of the families. And so we wanted to hear, and we want our audience to hear from you, what kinds of families are we helping? How are the resources that we have available right now going out into the community? What are you seeing?
We're seeing all types of different families coming in. I think you may have mentioned before that we're seeing families that we've never seen before.
Yep.
Families that never needed that help before, but due to COVID or any type of situation, they're coming in because they need that help.
Yeah.
I've had a family that has come in because they were a 2-family income. Now they're down to just one income, that's unemployment at
Right.
this time.
Let me get you to put that microphone right up on your lips.
There you go,
You
Adria.
can pull it to you.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You got it.
Closer.
So yeah, so the family that you mentioned, that's pretty representative of what you're seeing, right?
Yes. And it's just not families. We do have seniors that still need that help as well because they are on fixed incomes.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to either, am I going to get my medication or pay this utility bill?
Yep.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I know that I spoke with a family, a mom, a couple of months ago when we were operating a different program, and she was very just upfront about the very difficult decisions that she had to make, because at that time we were learning that her child, who attended a Fayette County Public School, it was not going back in, and she was a small business owner who had to close up shop, and was starting to realize that this was going to be a much longer process because she needed to stay at home so that her child could have a place where he was doing his at-home learning. And so we know that the circumstances that are upon families are such that none of us have ever had to navigate before. And so I'm just so thankful for you and for the staff that you work alongside, who are really helping to meet people's needs, but also alleviate crises for families, because it's really something that is so important to us. Lady, kind of what are you seeing in terms of, I know you've spent a lot of time in our centers over the last several weeks. What kinds of needs are you also seeing?
There's a lot of needs. There's tough decisions the families are taking out there.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen families with kids, small kids, where parents are actually working on NTIs, like you said before, but at the same time I have a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So how I'm gonna multitask and do all these things, and at the same time worry about how I'm gonna pay my bills or my rent or utilities. So we're seeing a lot of those families. We're seeing a lot of seniors. We're seeing a lot of students.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a broad population.
When you say students, you mean college students, correct?
We mean college students.
Yeah.
So there's a huge diversity that we're seeing. It's not like previous years, when past years we're like actually just seeing typical participants that were low income families.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing other families that we have never seen before.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, we are here to support them.
Yeah.
We really want them to hear this show and say, I can get some help.
Yep.
If we can release some of that stress that they're having, we are here to help them.
Earlier this week, I was talking to a newscaster. I was talking to KYT, and they were talking to me about how many applications, how many households has this really turned into. And so I said that, as you mentioned, Kentucky structures its LIHEAP program, for example, to be a winter assistance program. But because COVID hit in March, as we talked about earlier, and we've been basically operating it for the last 12 months consistently, which has really never happened in my knowledge. We have done 9,000 more applications than we would have done this time last year if but for COVID.
Well, and a sample of that was during the first, we finished all the program that we're running the whole year. We finished crisis in April, and we went into spring subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
Spring subsidy is compared with what we're doing right now, but we did it last year. We completed 1,500 applications just in that period of time.
Yeah, it was like 2 months, right?
It was like 2 months.
Yeah.
So tremendous job from the staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
They literally decide, hey, we're going to do this.
It took a pandemic for us to really change, pivot some of the things that we were doing. And we've been providing energy assistance, but with the pandemic affecting so many people with food, housing, all these different things, it's allowed us to pivot a little bit and serve people in a different way. So what are some more programs that we're...
Well, we actually changed the way we provide services when the pandemic got here.
That's essential, yeah.
We went completely remote. We started doing those applications, and we serve, like I said before, 1,500 households with that different way of providing services.
Right.
So it's amazing.
It's on the fly, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, every week for a while there, we were changing how we were doing, what we were doing.
And what you're saying is also true in the type of program that we're offering. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Healthy at Home, because I want to make sure that people know about what that is. And as we both said earlier, it's water and wastewater assistance and electric and natural gas assistance. And so It does require past due disconnect or a payment plan from utility companies, but that can be given in concert with LIHEAP. So if families qualify for both, then they can receive both types of assistance. And it's important also to know that these all of the assistance that we give to utility companies goes in the form of a voucher to the utility company on that household's behalf. So this is not money that exchanges hands between us, and it doesn't exchange hands at all. In fact, it's a credit that's put on by the utility companies at our direction because a family qualifies for the programs and the requirements that we have or the state has for those services. So
this Healthy at Home is a new program, right?
It's new. We typically do not offer water or wastewater assistance. We tend to focus our efforts on energy assistance because of the high cost of those bills.
Right.
And so this is a benefit that this is being operated with Team Kentucky, and it's resources that we're receiving through the state and are able to get that out to utility companies. But I feel like you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to say is once the participants they're making appointments with us, the family staff will create a comprehensive assessment with them. So they
don't have to call and ask for a specific program.
Yes, we will ask those questions. You need services with the water. Do you need services with the sewer? So we make sure we are providing that services to them.
Yes, that's great. So one-stop shop, and I hate saying it that way, but you can come and really be needing one thing and then get assistance in some other things that can help get you to a better place.
That's right. One thing also to note that because we did move to a virtual platform almost entirely, the best way for people to not only find out if they're eligible, because we do have that information on our website, but also to schedule an appointment is to go to our website, comaction.org, and it will link to the appointment scheduler, or you can just go directly there at comaction.itfrontdesk, that's all one word, .com, and it will allow you to understand what the eligibility requirements are and give you the opportunity to make an appointment. And for those listening who would prefer to do it over the phone, the number to call that gets you all the same access to everything we just talked about is 859-300-6960. And appointments can be made. They will be made for Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. But you can go online at any time or call that number at any time to schedule an appointment. And I know that Lady and her staff, Adria, what everyone is doing is they're calling participants ahead of the scheduled appointment. So we are doing some limited in-person contact. Lady or Adria, would you guys like to talk about what that looks like? How are families actually getting the service?
So if you call and you got your appointment, your worker will call you a day before, and they'll give you the option to email your information to them.
Great.
We are seeing people, but it's not in the building. We're outside. So we'll come to you. If you're in a car, we tell you, hey, when you get in the parking lot, call us, let us know that you're out there. We'll come and get your information. We'll come and get it, make the copies, bring it back to you. The best way, I think, is the email if you send it ahead of time, because there is a possibility that you could qualify for at least 5 programs.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there for 5 applications. So the good weather we're having, I'm not complaining. But some of y'all are burning up in the car. So that way you're not sitting there as long.
Yeah.
So when you make that appointment, even if you don't think that you qualify, still make that appointment.
That's right.
Because you never know.
That's really important. I'm glad you said that.
When the people that you're seeing, I know that we're providing services, but have you seen the impact of that providing that service? Someone who might really just been in a really bad shape and did not know and just was totally just blown away with our services.
A lot of times that's with the seniors. I've gotten a lot of calls from seniors because they think that the only thing they think they really qualify for is maybe our HE or EAP, which helps through certain months towards their bill. But they never know that, hey, I got a disconnect, so I can go to Community Action and they can pay this even though I'm on this program.
Yeah.
So the biggest one is the seniors. because they think they don't qualify for anything.
So HEA EAP, let's talk about that. I'm really glad you mentioned that. So for those who are listening who are hearing acronyms, that stands for Home Energy Assistance Program, and those are utility funded assistance programs. So the LIHEAP and the Healthy at Home that we are talking about are federal or state contributions. But the HEA and EAP that Adria just mentioned, those are funded directly by the utilities themselves. So for us in our service territory, that's Kentucky Utilities, Columbia Gas, Delta Gas. And what it means is that the way that they have structured their program that we help operate along with Community Action Kentucky, what we do is we provide a benefit during peak months of the year. So for heating and cooling months. Right. And that is once a household is enrolled, they would get that on their bill. And it would help them kind of stabilize in much the same way that we're talking about other things, that this is something that they can receive that will help them be able to use the resources that they have in different ways to buy food, to buy medication, to buy clothing for their children or families.
Absolutely.
And again, once they are with the staff completing one application, they will see if they qualify for these services and complete an extra application for it.
Right. Because, I mean, theoretically, if you have the money for your gas bill, but it's going to put you in a tight place by the end of the month, then, utilize those services so that you can make it through. And that's what's essential.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Yeah. So I think the last thing we want to talk about and make sure that people know is available. So we spent a lot of time talking about utility assistance, but we are also operating rental assistance in our 4 communities. And again, those are Fayette, Bourbon, Harrison, and Nicholas. And we're doing it a little bit differently in each of those communities. So, Lady, do you want to talk a little bit about how it's happening here in Lexington first?
Here in Lexington, we're basically running the housing stabilization program, and that's supporting with if you have a eviction notice or you're 7 days past due. So if your landlord's telling you, hey, you're behind a month or 2 months, that's when we come in. We are basically, you provide all the documents, all the information. We're calling the same number, the Community Action, 859-233-4600. You get you in contact with one of the staff members that is providing that services, collect all the documents. Again, it's an income-based program. So if you qualify for that program, we will go ahead and help you. Based on the need that you have, we can qualify you up to $4,000.
Yeah, that's a tremendous help.
Yes, that's a big help. And we are seeing those bills. We are seeing the need in the community. We have served until today like almost 300 households
in a short amount of time. And I know that we're working with multiple partners. Among those are the Lexington City government, as well as Lexington Fair Housing Council, who is not only a good partner of ours, but the executive director sits on our board. So we're glad to be able to work among those and other partners to be able to provide rental assistance to meet the greatest number of households, right? So each of the organizations are taking maybe a different level of qualification so that we can make sure to spread out the resources that are available and help each other help the greatest number of people. What about in our rural communities?
It works a little bit similar. It's different funding, but it's if you have a disconnect or not a disconnect. If you have an eviction notice or you're running behind on your rent, you just bring your information to one of our centers, making the phone call, and we will go ahead and make sure you qualify for the program.
Okay, so for the numbers for all of our centers in our 3 rural communities as well as Lexington, I encourage everybody to go to our website at comaction.org. A lot of the information that we have talked about are available on our Facebook posts as well, so check us out there at Community Action Council. We want to meet the greatest number of households and the needs that they have. So if you have questions or if you want to know more information, you're welcome to email either Lady or myself. Both of our email addresses are also on our website at comaction.org. But otherwise, please share this information that you've learned today and get the word out. The programs that we talked about, the LIHEAP and Healthy at Home, are set to end on December 11th. So we have just about the next month available for appointments, and we want to make sure that we help as many people as needed.
Lady Adria, thank you so much for being on the show. We just really appreciate the information. We know our listeners really appreciate the information, and we really appreciate the hard work that you all are doing. Kudos.
Thank you so much, Cam.
Cameron.
All right. You have been listening to Let's Talk More Action. We will see you on the next show.